Welcome to the Private Lenders lesson for the financing course. In this lesson with Sarah and Jan, you will learn about different types of private lenders, how to find and evaluate them, and how to present and structure your deals with them. As usual, take a minute to print out the workbook section for this lesson and get a pen or pencil ready to take notes. Many real estate lenders rely on private money. Private money, unlike institutional money, is money lent by individuals that are looking to get a better and/or more stable return on their money than they would with a bank or in a stock market. Private lenders come from all walks of life, and their funds from a variety of sources. Private money is an option for a real estate investor with bad credit, high debt-to-income ratios, or no money for a down payment. Even loan-qualified real estate investors use private money because private money is often a lot quicker and easier to obtain. Private lenders tend to be a lot more flexible in their terms than even some hard money lenders. They can be a lot cheaper and may offer longer-term funding options too. However, there are private money lenders who will do hard money as well. Before you start this lesson, make sure that you know the following: the basic principles and terminology used in real estate investing, which properties to look for and why, where you want to buy real estate, how to locate motivated sellers, how to network, and the basics of investment strategies. After you diligently apply all the principles and concepts in this lesson, you should come away from this lesson knowing the following: understand why you should work with private lenders, explain what a private lender is, list the advantages and disadvantages to using private lenders, explain how to borrow funds the right way, list the types of private lender arrangements, explain how to pick your private lender, describe how to plan and present your deal, describe how to negotiate with the private lenders, explain how to maintain relationships with private lenders, and describe how to avoid SEC issues.
If you are going to work with private lenders, you will need to network to find these people. There are a lot of different ways to find these people. We want to share a few ideas here, but there are many more options and approaches discussed in the networking lesson of the marketing course. Tip number 1, network at special events. You can network at special events. You might go to the local real estate investor club, Chamber of Commerce, Real Estate Professional Association, or entrepreneur meetings. But networking events are not the only opportunities you have to network. There are opportunities to network everywhere you go, at the dentist office, at the gym, or even in a crowded store. Most of us miss these opportunities out of fear of being seen as too pushy or of developing a reputation as just another nagging salesperson. The amount and effectiveness of the networking that you do plays a very important role in the success or failure of your business. So how then do you network effectively without being perceived as a pest? First, stop worrying what others think. People will develop their own opinions about you no matter what you say or do.
Tip number 2, listen first, then talk. If you're the first one to speak, never start off talking about your own business first. Instead, ask about their business and listen carefully. If you don't have much interest in their business, be sure to ask them a question or two to let them know that you are listening. If they say anything remotely related to your own business services, wait until they are finished speaking, then point out the relation between their business and your own. Another option is to point out their investing goals and show them how your business can help them reach those rates of return. Then, after they have spoken about their success, begin explaining your business services. They will likely give you the same respect by listening attentively as you explain your business. If they ask you a legitimate question, then you know that they were listening and that you were able to network effectively. Exchange cards with them. Always carry your business cards with you and follow up with an email the very next day, stating how much you enjoyed learning about their business and reminding them of your business services, as well as any special promotions that you may have.
Let's say you're in the waiting room at the dentist's office and the person sitting next to you strikes up a conversation about the weather or any general topic. How do you use this networking opportunity to your advantage? Situations like these should be handled differently from professional networking events. Don't offer additional information by telling them that it is your own business services that you are referring to. Instead, speak of your business in third person, as if you are giving a referral for the company. You want to be sure to brag on the company as much as possible and maybe even tell a funny story to go along with it, something to help them remember your company in a good way. People will remember your stories more than they will remember your advice. Aesop's fables have been remembered for centuries, but Aesop's thesis sentences alone wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes.
After you have finished telling your story, offer them your generic business card and ask for theirs, or their phone number or email, so you can forward more information about this company to them. You may want to get a set of business cards with only your name and contact information, minus your business name, to use for these types of brief networking opportunities. This may seem a bit underhanded, but people are more apt to use the services of a company which has been referred by someone who has used the services and can vouch for their good work. The bottom line is network, network, and network some more. It's a small world and news travels fast, which is why networking is a key element in growing any business. After all, you never know who the person you meet is or who they really know. They might be your next private lender. Private lenders, or investors, are generally middle-class people who have some extra funds to lend for real estate ventures, but do not want the headaches and paperwork of managing tenants, negotiating with buyers and sellers, or repairing properties. They can be retired business people, corporate executives, professionals such as doctors, lawyers, or business owners, or even blue-collar workers, all looking for returns higher than the 3 to 5% they get at the banks. Private lenders can acquire the money they lend you from a number of different sources: retirement funds, corporate or personal lines of credit, equity pulled from a business or real estate, personal or business loans, profit from a real estate or business liquidation, inheritance, lottery winnings, court case settlement. Compared to hard money lenders, private lenders are generally a lot more flexible in their terms, the properties they will lend on, and how they are compensated. As long as they get the rate of return they're looking for and the deal seems sound and makes sense, they will invest in it. Keep in mind that not all private lenders are the same. Private lenders have different comfort levels for investing, and they may need different rates of return, may only fund certain types of properties or deals, they may lend for short or long terms, or they may have any other combination of other needs to do the deal.
You might find private investors lending money interest only to keep the monthly payment low. However, lenders will not reduce the principal over time as with an amortized loan. For example, Jim borrows $100,000 at 12% per year or $1,000 per month in interest-only payments. But let's say Jim and his private lender agreed that he would pay all interest and principal at the end of 6 months. If that is the case, Jim will pay the lender $6,000, which represents all the accrued interest plus the principal.
Shown on the screen is a list of possible private money lenders. As you can see, there's quite a few sources of private money, including family, friends, coworkers, retired real estate investors, retired entrepreneurs, doctors, dentists, lawyers, accountants, angel investors, tired landlords, promissory note investors, people with IRAs, 401ks, or other retirement funds, business owners with lines of credit or corporate credit, other real estate investors, people with equity in real estate or a business. Really, anyone around you.
Private money can be the answer to your creative real estate financing problems and can help take your real estate investing business to the next level. As a real estate investor, you'll want to find private lenders and structure deals with them.
People traditionally borrow from hard money lenders to fund foreclosure investments. However, hard money lenders generally charge a fee that is a percentage of the amount borrowed, also known as points. Hard money lenders can charge 2 to 10 points and 12 to 18% interest on the loans they do. Some hard money lenders charge interest only on their loans and get their principal paid back in full at the end of the loan, or they wait to receive the interest and principal in full at the end of the loan. Private lenders, as mentioned earlier, tend to be more flexible in their rates and terms than hard money lenders.
The challenge in creative real estate is that deals need to be done fast. Banks are notorious for doing things at molasses pace. Most banks seem to want more documentation than any person on earth can provide. A big challenge for rookie real estate investors is going out and finding a good deal, but then not having the money available to pull the trigger on the deal. Private lenders, on the other hand, can often lend you money quickly and with a minimum of paperwork so you can execute creative deals that make you money. There is no set amount that private lenders expect to make on deals with real estate investors. Some private lenders would like to lend you money at 10 to 12% interest per year. Others may want a percentage of the profits. They all have different expectations. Your job is to understand what they want. The terms of private money can be anywhere from 1 month to whatever deal you strike. As long as the lender is getting paid the interest rate that you promised, they're probably not going to pressure you to give them back their money before the agreed upon date. The more private lenders you have at your disposal, the less your money is going to cost you. And as you continue to have successful transactions with your private lenders, their trust in you will go up and they'll be more likely to lend you additional funds. You might even be able to negotiate stronger and more favorable terms for yourself because they do trust you now and have confidence in your ability to execute and deliver.
What are some of the advantages of using private money for your real estate investments? Here are some reasons why private money is a great way to invest in real estate. Fast, and you can buy at a discount. No credit check, and doesn't show up on your credit report. Unlimited funds. Control. You set the rules. Help friends, family, and meet a great group of people. Get some of the profit when you sell and pay off the loan. Cash flow possible. Flexible. Can make offers with confidence. Can structure quick and more profitable exit strategies. Saves you money. Can be cheaper than a hard money lender. Can sometimes fund the purchase of foreclosure properties. Proof of funds is cash. And it is the foundation for a very profitable real estate investing business. And here are some disadvantages to using private money in real estate investing. You must find these lenders first, and they are harder to find. They may have different financial goals than you over time and not be a good source for money after a few deals. They can change their terms and conditions from deal to deal. You have to nurture and maintain the relationship. They may run out of money. They may lend money elsewhere over time. You have to keep them interested by keeping the rate of return attractive. You have to know what types of deals they do and don't like.
There are 4 main financing options when it comes to raising money from friends, relatives, and other private lenders: gifts, loans, equity investments, and joint ventures. Let's learn about each one so that you can make the best choice for you and your potential lender.
A gift is the simplest way of obtaining capital. You have no ongoing obligation to the giver, although you should thank the person and make an effort to maintain good relations. A friend or family member might offer a gift of money to help you get started, or you might jumpstart the process by asking. Though it might seem impolite to ask someone for a gift of money when you're starting a business, it makes sense. Make sure the gift is made to your company, which then loans you the money.
You will need to document all gift you get, but all that's necessary is a letter from the donor explaining that the money is a gift. The giver should keep a copy for tax purposes to assure the IRS that the transfer wasn't an interest-free loan. You should keep a copy as well. You may receive up to a certain gift amount each year from any person as a tax-free gift. This can be a great way for a relative to offset their taxable income and give you parts of your inheritance while they are still alive. If you receive more than the certain gift amount, the giver must file a gift tax return for the amount given.
Most financing, however, comes in the form of a loan. For yours and your lender's sake, set up every loan the way a bank would, with a signed agreement, called a promissory note, and a repayment schedule. This will increase the prospective lender's confidence, and these documents will protect your lender from having the IRS treat the loan as a gift. The written document should spell out when and how you're expected to repay the money, including what to do if the payment is late. Once you sign the promissory note, it's legally binding. People who lend money are looking for a decent interest rate, similar to what they can earn on a savings account or CD. Offering an interest rate that exceeds what they'd earn elsewhere is a great way to attract their attention. If you are considering a private loan arrangement, understand that you'll have to regularly manage the loan, usually by making monthly payments. This might be difficult if your business isn't making money. Of course, your private lender is likely to be more flexible than a bank if you can't meet your repayment obligations. But you should seriously consider whether you and your business can handle these monthly payments before signing onto a loan. Be sure to ask only for terms that you can handle.
Here's a real-life example about loans. Carrie was experienced in investing in the stock market, but she did not know anything about real estate. She had recently inherited some money from her great aunt and was looking for a new way to invest it. Carrie spoke with her accountant Bill about her desire to invest in real estate and asked for his advice. Bill referred her to Tom, who was a very experienced foreclosure real estate investor who was always looking for new private money sources. Carrie called Tom and they hit it off from the start. Carrie told Tom that she wasn't interested in learning about real estate investing, she just wanted to make money from it. They struck an agreement and Carrie funded a total of 25 deals for Tom over a 4-year period of time. Tom and Carrie structured a loan each time he borrowed her money. The terms varied from time to time with each deal, but it was always a win-win for each party. Together, they made a lot of money. A third way mentioned earlier to raise business capital is to sell shares in your business to an equity investor. Although many businesses seek out professional equity investors and business colleagues, your friends and family members can also become equity investors in your business. Unlike a lender who temporarily provides you with money to operate your business, equity investors actually buy a piece of your business. They become your co-owners or shareholders and share in the fortunes and misfortunes of your business. Obviously, you should choose these people wisely, as they will have some say in how you run your business. You should maintain a majority ownership interest in your business so you can have the final say in most business decisions. When raising money for your business, you'll need to compensate your investors for the risk they've agreed to take on, share ownership in the business, comply with security laws, and put all these agreements into a legal document unique to your financing situation, probably with the help of an attorney.
Equity investors take on a high level of risk, often investing with no guarantee that your real estate deals will make money. Your investors should understand that they are not guaranteed to get their money back. To make the risk worthwhile, equity investors stand to win big if your business succeeds. For example, if a friend loans you $10,000 and you repay it at 6% over 2 years, your friend will make $637 on the loan. If a friend buys a 10% stake in your $100,000 company and it then becomes a $500,000 company, your friend's investment will have earned far more than $637.
If your equity partner is not already included in the company documents when you form your company, you'll need to create an equity purchase agreement and other documents to formalize their equity investment in your business. This paperwork determines who owns and controls your company, so you will probably want to consult an attorney. And depending on how many investors you take in and how much money you raise, you may also need to comply with federal and state security laws and learn how having investors affects how you file your taxes.
Joint venture partnerships, commonly known as JVs, are formed between 2 or more people to invest in a business or property opportunity. JVs are often between someone who lacks the time or expertise to invest, often referred to as the money partner, and an expert, often referred to as the finder, who is looking to leverage his or her experience to create a profitable investment. JVs do not have to be long-term or involve each party in all deals, but can be done on a per-deal basis, or they can be a company that invests only in certain types of deals. The money partner may be silent and simply provide the capital needed to get started, while the expert conducts all the research, tenanting, market timing, and day-to-day property management. JVs are a good way for less experienced investors to start. The risks are reduced, and beginners can grow their money while learning how to invest. Credit partners are also good people to enter into joint ventures with as well. When you work with a credit partner, you have them qualify for a loan, and once you find and structure the deal, you use their credit to obtain financing. You usually agree beforehand, via a contract, how you will split the proceeds of the sale.
Here are a few ways joint venture partnership investments benefit the money partner. Joint venture investments help the money partner realize more value for their money and time, because they can leverage the knowledge and expertise of an expert who can define a location and strategy for their investments and analyze the market to suit the money partner's future needs. Joint ventures provide a sense of security. If the joint investor is an expert with a solid background in real estate investing and a good investment portfolio, this reduces risk.
Here's a real-life example about joint ventures. Jane was a seasoned real estate agent and investor, but was having a hard time obtaining funds from traditional lenders. A local closing agent she worked with referred her to Gabe. Gabe was a retired landlord and had access to a lot of money and was looking for more deals to invest in. Jane presented her property portfolio as well as a few property profiles that she was hoping he would invest in. Gabe saw many strengths in her approach, but he noticed that she lacked experience. So he decided the safest way for him to invest with her would be to do a joint venture. They agreed to terms and conditions and created a partnership in an LLC. The LLC was used to invest in certain deals only. The partnership lasted for over 5 years and eventually dissolved, with each parting ways on favorable terms and a nice chunk of money.
Many investors think that the lack of money is what stops them from closing a deal. This is a myth. Understand that money is never an issue. If the deal is right, the money will come. Simply think creatively. Go to the source of funds and ask for money. The worst that can happen is you get a no. Each no only places you closer to yes. You might find private lenders in the least likely places or circumstances. Here are a few suggestions for where to look. Contractors can be a sort of private lender. Some contractors can work with you and not expect any money until you close on the property they made repairs on. Or they can allow you to pay for materials now and for labor after closing. Whenever anyone lends money or resources to you, consider that source an asset and partner. Extended payments from a vendor are another great source of capital for a small business. If you don't abuse your creditors, they will have an interest in your success.
You may never ask your lawyer or CPA for money, but you might ask them for referrals, or you might try a more indirect approach by putting together a packet or prospectus that focuses on your local market, with forecasts on the real estate market and the types of returns that can be made on different types of deals in the local area. Ask your lawyer or CPA to review the packet and make sure you are within the confines of the law. It can be a good way to educate them about what you do, and they may even refer other people to you. You can search through county records to find people who have a private mortgage in their own name, and contact them because they may have more money to lend. Also, look for trusts, LLCs, or other individuals who seem to be buying a lot of foreclosure properties or income-generating properties, such as multiplexes or properties in a known rental area. These people might have enough funds to joint venture, partner, or offer their private funds in a loan to you. You can also look for properties that have been inherited and contact the executor of the estate and see if they want to invest or if the heirs want to invest.
Look for web advertisements or use the web. Do a search on Google or Yahoo for real estate funding or venture financing and contact the lenders you find. They want to hear from you. Just be cautious when using these resources for funds. Search the web for entrepreneur forums and networking sites. Many times they will allow you to post your need for money or have people posting the money they have to lend. One example of this type of website is www.gobignetwork.com.
Social networking websites offer some of the same opportunities as the entrepreneur networking websites. Join these groups and do keyword searches to find people who are interested in investing their private funds in deals. Keep in mind that the person you're looking for does not have to be someone who is already looking for a real estate investment. It could be anyone looking for an investment who has money to lend. You can even ask friends or people with your network for names of people who are willing to lend money. In a peer-to-peer or P2P investment, contract investors contribute money to an enterprise with the expectation of receiving a return as a result of the managerial efforts of someone other than themselves. P2P lending is a relatively new phenomenon, but already it has originated hundreds of billions of dollars in loans and connected millions of private borrowers and lenders. P2P lending sites have had to adjust their business models in order to comply with relevant securities laws. The people who conduct these transactions need to be properly licensed by the SEC. Here are a few P2P lender networks you might investigate: Lending Club, Zopa, and Virgin Money.
A private lending presentation involves getting 5 to 20 people in a room and doing a group presentation where you lay out the benefits of your private lending program. Depending on your comfort level of talking in front of a group of people, this may not be for everyone. But when people start to ask questions and tell positive stories, a certain level of confidence can arise that can have a very powerful effect on the other attendees. If you are not comfortable with group meetings, one-on-one meetings are a great alternative. We generally recommend a breakfast meeting in a quiet restaurant where you can have 15 to 45 minutes with your prospect. As with the group meeting, you need to lay out your private lending program's details and benefits.
If the prospect is out of town, you will need a good portfolio packet you can send in the mail. It is very important to follow up 2 or 3 days after you send the package to see if they have any questions. Even if they do not participate right away, keep in contact, and they may invest sometime down the road after a number of follow-up contacts. If you already have a private lender or lenders, be sure to ask them if they would like to participate in more deals on a regular basis. Most lenders only put up a very small investment to start with, and wait to see how things turn out before giving you more money. As the relationship grows, they may be more willing to invest larger and larger sums of money, which will grow your real estate investing business that much faster.
When your personal network is tapped out, the next group to consider could be angel investors. These individuals invest in the early stages of private business ventures and usually have a high net worth and qualify as accredited investors, so pursuing them doesn't typically create complications with SEC rules on solicitation. They tend to invest in particular types of businesses, but can be open to new ventures too. Most angel investments range from $25,000 to $100,000. You can usually find local groups through a quick Google search or on P2P and social networks or entrepreneur forum websites or at any university entrepreneur programs. Network with everyone you know and develop a 30-second commercial. To see an example, please review the guide that accompanies this lesson. Obviously, you will want to mold this script to meet your own personality and style of talking to other people.
From time to time, you will find private lenders who are advertising that they are looking for deals to invest in or have money to lend. And finally, you can network at local real estate investment or landlord clubs or at the Chamber of Commerce or entrepreneur clubs to find private lenders. It would be great if we could advertise for these people, but to comply with SEC rules, we are restricted on what we can say and how we can attract these private lenders. Review these laws and understand what you can and cannot do to find your private lenders. We recommend that you seek local legal counsel on this matter. Funding a new startup is not that hard if the idea is sound and well thought out. However, do not expect to walk in and have a quick chat and expect a check in your back pocket on your way out the door. You are typically wise to do a feasibility study and provide supporting data that can be easily verified. To get the go-ahead for seed capital from private lenders, you need to keep in mind that their motivation is first to preserve their capital and second to make money. A private lender will first assess your business concept and you for the likelihood that she will get their capital back before they consider the potential rewards. Once you find a group of potential lenders, set up a meeting with them to discuss your plans and how you can put their money to work for them. If you have a solid plan, you will instill confidence in them, and they will be more inclined to loan you their hard-earned dollars.
Before you approach new private lenders, consider evaluating the following items. Do phone screening before spending time in person. Know how something is going to benefit a potential client before you go and talk to them. Be prepared and anticipate their questions. Assume you're going to get the money. Establish your prices fairly and firmly. Estimate carefully your own value. Raise your price by the amount of time you have to deal with a project and be careful to assess how flexible they can be. Most times, you only get one chance to give a persuasive pitch, so you will want to be prepared and confident and include the following in your presentation. Your executive summary should be a compelling one-page document that inspires investors to agree to a meeting. You should present your information in a slideshow or PowerPoint presentation. It should briefly and concisely convey the opportunity and financial model to investors. If you don't have experience developing a financial model, get another member of the team to help with it. It's important to put some metrics before your investor so they can understand the economic drivers in the business and how this deal will make money.
Many investors look for the character of the real estate investor and a strong determination to succeed when deciding whether or not to fund the deal. Here are a few specifics that they look for when you present. Confidence, consistency, and integrity are three components real estate investors should strive to convey when they are seeking funding from private lenders. Private lender decisions are also influenced by charm, charisma, principles, timing, location, everything you can imagine. A significant personal investment into the project and a track record of successful projects are compelling ways to convince outside sources to support the project. A financial commitment demonstrates that the real estate investor has a personal stake in the project's success and will suffer if it fails. Or they look for a good track record behind you, as possibly evidenced by referrals or testimonials from past private investors or business partners. When presenting a project, it is crucial to be organized, prepare for questions, and provide references. If no references from past deals are available, then professional colleagues in the industry might suffice depending on the private lender. Make sure your business plan is up to date as well. You shouldn't show that you need the money too much. Investors can smell desperation, and if they do, they might choose to walk away from the deal. At least initially, courting investors requires a lot of time and commitment and negotiating and lunches and dinners and time away from family. Getting to know these investors who really sort of become like family. Very few people like surprises, especially investors. Ask them if you can send them quarterly or biannual progress reports similar to those public companies issue to shareholders. Additionally, you may want to provide information about expected returns and projected timelines that are set to meet goals. Remember to do the following when presenting to a large group of lenders. Target a seminar date. Setting a deadline is vital to making the seminar happen and will make you stay focused. Pick a location. Typically, the best places are library meeting rooms, hotels or motels, a country club, or a church. Send out invitations to these people for the specific date, place, and time, and discussing in general the topic that will be covered. Create a portfolio packet in a nice binder with a business card and include an introductory letter, a reference page showing how their principal is secured, details about past transactions you have done, referrals or testimonials from past investors or business partners, details about potential transactions, and a blank promissory note. Create a PowerPoint slide presentation. Try to leave out information not relevant to real estate. And finally, design a postcard to mail to the list of people who attended the presentation. The postcard is to remind people about your presentation and the opportunity it might provide them.
Before you present, there are things you should do 2 weeks, the day before, and the day of your presentation. 2 weeks before your presentation, you should do the following. Practice, practice, practice your presentation. Mail invitations. Have the overhead slide projector and large projection screen ready. Coordinate seating and layout with the meeting location. Assemble your handouts and packets, and practice the seminar presentation some more. On the day of the presentation, you should dress professionally, set up a sign-in table at the back of the room for people to sign in and get a name badge. Keep it fun, professional, and low-key. And don't beg.
And after the presentation, there are still things to do. You should follow up with attendees by sending them a postcard, and email them a weekly list of deals that you are currently looking for funding on. Allow them to opt out of this email anytime. Don't expect immediate results. It might take weeks for people who had attended the presentation to call or email you that they are interested in investing with you. Referrals might even show up at your doorstep from the people who were present at the presentation. Many real estate investors feel like they should be able to find private lenders in a few weeks. Worst yet, some expect to find them in a matter of days. Realistically, your funding search may take months or even years. So, in light of that, you'd better start the search now. In any successful relationship, you have to have 3 things: common goals, compatible styles, and the ability to communicate.
An investment relationship is like a marriage. It is not going to be flawless, and each party is going to bring their quirks into the relationship. You really need to find out about your private lender. We recommend that you ask yourself a few of the questions shown on the screen to help you decide if your potential lenders are a good money partner and to determine whether your styles and goals are compatible. They are: what is their comfort level in risk-taking? What is their money doing now? What rate of return do they expect as a minimum? What is their experience level with real estate? How soon do they want their money back? What is their hot button regarding investments? What are they afraid of? What will secure their comfort level? How active or passive do they wish to be? You can also ask yourself these questions. What are you looking for in money investors? What do you want from them? What do you want them to be like? What's important in your evaluation of them?
Here's a real-life example about 2 people who formed a partnership without really thinking about what they were doing. They got together to buy a mobile home park that needed to be completed. They had developed 200 spaces, but only had 20 occupied, and were in financial trouble and about to lose the park to foreclosure. Neither partner had the expertise to develop a mobile home park. This happens too many times. 2 real estate agents without the expertise necessary for a specific property purchase form a partnership in order to have someone to talk to between phone calls at the office. While it may sound fun, it's not the proper way to select a partner.
The wrong partnership profile includes dishonesty as well as other minuses. Avoid someone who has a pattern of dishonesty, which may be subtle and could include little misrepresentations and small white lies. Many good people do not do their due diligence on a prospective partner and are surprised later to find out that their partner lacks integrity and lies about many things. A big sign that they are not honest is when they don't completely answer your questions about their business affairs and financial history. A partner who is not transparent might be dangerous. Here are some other negatives that you should watch out for. Laziness or its opposite. Overscheduled. These people will never have the time to contribute to your partnership. And personal baggage. This can include problematic business relationships of their own, like creditors or recorded judgments. You should look for the following when choosing a partner. Find someone who has different personality strengths than you. If you are a strong leader, find someone who is a good follower. If you are strong in the visionary area, find someone who is detail-oriented. This way, your strengths and weaknesses will meld and harmonize together. Seek out a partner who has a steady income and cash reserves. After all, you are seeking a partner to help get you launched, and cash will be needed. Have the same end goals. Are you planning to buy and hold, or rehab, or flip? Are you looking to sell to investors or end buyers? Nothing will work if you are headed in separate directions. Your morals and values must be a good match. If your intention is to build a strong reputation of high integrity, you don't want to partner with someone who thinks nothing of cutting a few corners. You want someone who is honest and who has integrity, which is no small challenge. A poll taken a couple of years ago indicated that 50% of all people in American society admit to regularly lying. You don't need someone who is perfect, but you do want honesty. Past failures are okay, provided this person brings valuable contributions to the partnership. Your partners should be people you respect and admire. Each partner should be someone with whom you feel a connection, someone who is a kindred spirit. Obviously, you need to get to know someone before you enter into a partnership with them. And last but not least, your partner should be someone who brings valuable knowledge and experience into the venture. The knowledge and experience of the individuals you bring into the partnership will depend on the venture. For example, if your partnership is to develop raw property for sale to builders or other buyers, you would want credentials in that area.
If you are developing a raw property for sale, you might need the following experts: excavator who has experience sufficient to do the dirt work, engineer or surveyor with sufficient experience to be able to do all the engineering and surveying required for the platting work, another engineer, if not the same one, who can do all of the plat drafting and submissions to the city or county, utilities man who can install the utilities properly and to code, power, sewer, cable, phone, an asphalt company that can pour beautiful roads throughout the project, real estate lawyer who knows real estate and all the contracts and negotiations involved, realtor who can sell the lots to builders or individuals, person or persons with financial resources, both cash and credit.
Or if you were buying single-family homes for rental or resale, you might need the following experts: experienced inspector or builder who knows how to inspect, experienced contractor or builder who can do great rehab work, real estate lawyer who knows real estate and all the contracts and negotiations involved, realtor who can buy and sell for the partnership, person or persons with financial resources, both cash and credit.
Once you've found and chosen your interested investor, the negotiation process begins. This can take several iterations to get right and may ultimately never work out. You have to prepare the property profile before your meeting, which includes all of the items necessary for the investor to evaluate the deal effectively. This step can be worked on while you are still making your initial search for potential investors. Once the investor has expressed interest, you'll need to negotiate the amount of funding required. This may take several meetings. When this is settled, you'll get the term sheet. The term sheet will ultimately need approval from both parties. This will take some massaging before it finally goes through. If all goes well, you'll successfully landed funding. Unfortunately, most of these meetings don't result in a successful match, and you may have to go through this process dozens of times before you find the ideal partnership.
Here are some common mistakes that people make when negotiating and acquiring funds from private lenders. Not using an attorney. Not having a backup plan, ideally multiple backup plans. Assuming investors are on board before they make a financial or legal commitment. Being deterred by rejections. Acting too desperate. Lacking confidence. And not allowing the process enough time, last minute. Any agreement between partners is really an agreement built of component parts based on the goals and needs of the partners involved. It's a business venture, so you've got to analyze the components. Some components are fixed, and some are variable, but the sum total must be fair and meet the needs of both parties. Now, there are some certain fixed components in the standard partnership agreement which don't need negotiating.
Here are some areas to cover or questions to ask within a standard partnership agreement. Is it a single-family house, an apartment building, a duplex? It needs to be stated. What is the purpose of the venture? To buy it and wholesale it? To fix it and sell it for retail? To hold for rental? What is the business address? What is the effective date of the venture going to be? Where are the books held? What bank account is going to be used? What is the intended result? Are you going to have a statement that there's a profit or a guarantee, or are you going to purposely say there is no guarantee? What is the responsibility of the parties? Who is going to do what? What is the mechanism for changing the agreement? Are you ever going to change it? And if so, what does it take to do it? What is the mechanism for handling the dissent of the parties? And if you disagree, what are you going to do? What is the mechanism for dissolution? A copy of these questions is also contained in the accompanying guide.
You need to negotiate the terms of your partnership before you buy any properties. If the two partners are relatively knowledgeable real estate people, you'll probably have different attributes or complementary skills so that you can join forces and thus reach the same goals. In all likelihood, that money partner doesn't want to know too many of the details and may not want to be bothered with it at all. They may want just the results and reports along the way. Never agree to a 50-50 partnership. If you are seeking a partner, then it is your deal and your business. Create a 51-49 partnership. Otherwise, you will have a two-headed monster. When you come to an impasse, you will call the shots. Write out the guidelines and stick by them. Part of these guidelines will be your separate roles in the business. Agree ahead of time on who will do what. Review these guidelines periodically. If one area is not working well, adjust accordingly. Your partnership may be set up formally as a shared LLC or corporation, or you may simply create a written agreement. Either way, set it up so you can make an easy exit.
In any case, the negotiated agreement has to provide that each partner receives the particular benefits that make sense for them individually. Sometimes it may help to use a list and sort out the benefits. All real estate has a bundle of privileges and rights, and one of them is that whoever has the title to the property has the tax benefits. Some of your equity partners or joint ventures need a tax benefit, so it might be negotiated that it is in their name. Sometimes they want anonymity, so whose name would it be in? If you don't want your name on the title, it could be the trust, or a corporation, or some other entity. In other words, whoever has the title of ownership has a benefit, so that's one of the things you work out on your list of variables on your partnership agreement. Tax benefits must equal 100%, but don't have to be a portion between the partners the same as ownership.
This can be long or short. The agreement needs to state clearly the negotiated timetable for this venture. This is one component quite likely to be amended. Whose money is being offered and how much are basic issues for partners to negotiate. It costs money to find properties and manage them. You may have structured agreements as a deal maker where sometimes you receive money up front and sometimes not, and that will vary depending on the objectives of the partners. And in what proportion? As a managing partner, you could take all of it if there is any, or does it get distributed? When and in what proportion? For instance, if you have the management responsibility for a multiple unit, you could turn that responsibility into a benefit for yourself. If you install a Coke machine or washers and dryers or telephones, you could retain the income from those additions. Again, it's all up to you.
How will cash distributions be made? Will it be every 6 months, once a year, or once a month? Who will handle the negative cash flow? For how long, and in what proportion? This can vary by property, by partner, or by deal. There might be negative cash flow that you didn't expect. Will one of the partners actually benefit by having a negative cash flow? How and when will the deal maker be paid? Money is not the only component or way someone can be rewarded for their time and experience. Who is involved and when are they involved are major questions that need to be answered. Are they a silent partner or an active member of the real estate investments you make?
Another major consideration is the mortgage liability. What if the property has a negative cash flow because of vacancy? Does that mean that the operating partner is going to come up with the funds? Or should it be the owner on title? Or should it come out of something else? You need to think that through. If you resold it on a wrap, who is going to manage the wrap? When is the money partner going to get their money and how much? If a property doesn't resell within your set time frame, will you involve someone else, like a real estate agent? Does the partner have the right to say you didn't perform? And whose share is the cost going to come out of? Have you communicated to your partner what the problems are? If you are the managing partner and you really don't want them to do anything, that's perfectly okay, if that's what you agree on. What happens if that level of partner involvement changes? What can you do? This could possibly be the most important factor you'll be determining. How will you communicate? Will it be in writing, through monthly or quarterly meetings, or through weekly phone updates? You and your partner have to determine what mechanism is going to make you feel comfortable. Partnerships can be going along great, but what happens when things get rough? You need to go into it with the idea that if there's a problem, what are we going to do? This is a lot different than what are you going to do to get me out of this mess. It's got to be a we situation, or you're going to wind up in court. Then who wins? The attorneys get some money. Always try to communicate and get things worked out without resorting to legal maneuvers.
Here are a few outstanding circumstances which can change your partnership or possibly mean its end. Death or disability to either party, disabling lawsuit, bankruptcy, divorce, or a change in circumstances on the property itself. Should any of these circumstances occur, it is in the partnership's best interest to discuss all aspects of the partnership so that both people understand each other and so there is no confusion.
If you need to dissolve a partnership because of irreconcilable differences or because of an incomplete venture, remember these 8 points. Be businesslike. Acknowledge any problems. Attempt to be creative in solving the conflict without resorting to dueling attorneys. Do not point fingers or blame. Try to figure out a win-win situation for both parties, or at least a fair situation for both. Renegotiate a way out of the situation. Don't burn bridges or create enemies. Determine if pursuing the conflict resolution clauses in your agreement are appropriate.
Maintaining your relationship with your private lenders is important not only for the relationship itself, but also to preserve your future networking opportunities. Successful projects and satisfied investors will spread the word and facilitate future opportunities. If you deliver above and beyond what was expected and/or agreed on, you have a better chance of attracting more future capital. Here are a few tips to keep your private lender partner happy. Show your appreciation and acknowledge your partner's role, whatever it is. Communicate more often rather than less often, both good and bad news. Ask your partner for feedback, ideas, and perspective. Protect each other legally. Protect the venture from your own personal tribulations. Do what you say you're going to do. Don't expect too much too soon, or promise it without delivering it. Don't ever disclose the specifics of your partnership arrangement with anybody else. Respect the privacy of your partner. Even disclosing who you are in a partnership with is truly no one else's business. If things go wrong, don't badmouth your partner to others. Raising funds from outside sources can be tricky. The Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, has regulations that both protect and restrict average investors. For instance, you can raise money to buy real estate investments through private lenders, but you cannot publicly solicit for private lenders, nor can you guarantee any rate of return. Private lenders, however, can advertise the money they have available. Please remember, the advice contained herein is not from attorneys. The information offered here is for educational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice. We merely want to make you aware that there are SEC rulings and restrictions so that you can operate within the confines of the SEC law. Remember also that each state has different rules and that you should know what the rules are in the states you are pursuing private lenders. Be sure to research the laws for these states, as well as the federal SEC laws, or seek counsel from an attorney who is well versed in SEC regulations.
There are many ways you can secure the funds to become the bank for other investors. Private sources for the funds can include cash, borrowing against property, personal lines of credit, business lines of credit, personal loans, and self-directed IRAs. A few private lenders even use a pool of smaller investors who lend them the money that they in turn can lend out. Most of the ways do not require a lot of money. However, if you are planning on being a private lender on a large commercial property, such as large apartment complexes, then you may need to have hundreds of thousands of dollars. And remember to seek legal advice before gathering and lending a group's money, as there are SEC laws you have to abide by or risk legal and financial trouble.
One of the easiest ways to start private lending is to have the cash in the bank. Your cash will make tons more interest funding short-term private lender deals than it will sitting in the bank.
Depending on what is going on with the conventional lending world, you may be able to refinance a property or two that you own and loan the funds to private lenders. You might be able to utilize home equity lines of credit, HELOCs, or home equity loans, HELOCs. These loans were introduced in the financing lesson of the Real Estate Basics course.
If you have or can qualify for a personal line of credit, or PLOC, you can lend these funds to private lenders. A PLOC is a revolving line of credit that can be used, paid off, and used again. With unsecured lines of credit, you are not offering any collateral like a home, so it is considered unsecured, unlike a home equity line of credit, which offers funds secured by a piece of property. Often, this instrument is associated with some sort of credit card, where you qualify for a certain amount of money to borrow. If you do not use it, in most cases you will not need to pay any fees. Sometimes lenders will close the line of credit due to inactivity or charge you fees for not using the credit. You will make monthly payments on the amount outstanding plus interest, which can vary or be fixed. Be aware of the fees associated with doing cash advances, fund transfers into a checking account, or using checks to draw money from this line of credit. One benefit of personal lines of credit is that the lender might increase your limit on occasion without talking to you, or you might be able to request a line of credit increase.
A personal loan is an unsecured loan that you qualify for based on your credit, payment history, and income. Once the loan has matured, it needs to be paid off, or you will incur more fees or a higher interest rate. Be aware of any prepayment penalty fees as well. Obviously, you must make sure that the rate that you are borrowing the funds is lower than the rate you are charging your borrowers, and that you have a locked interest rate or understand the time frame in which the rate is locked. You may also want to build in penalty fees into your private lender loans to cover your costs if borrowers fail to pay you off in time.
Business lines of credit are similar to personal lines of credit, except that they are separate from your credit. If you obtain the right type of credit line, your name will not be tied to it, and it will not show up on your credit report. With business lines of credit, you will not be the one qualifying for the line of credit. Your business will. We discuss these more in the Building Corporate Credit lesson.
Some banks offer secured lines of credit, which allow you to borrow more money than with a personal line of credit because they are secured with a savings account, CD, or investments. We recommend obtaining lines of credit from a local bank or credit union because they will most likely offer a fixed rate and no time restrictions on using the money. Sometimes they may waive or reduce fees for accessing your funds.
Some people use self-directed IRAs to fund private lender loan transactions. Obviously, there is risk in doing these deals, or else everyone would be doing them. So you might want to consider whether you feel comfortable with your retirement funds potentially being jeopardized by a deal that goes bad. You might consider dividing up the funds into different self-directed IRA accounts and investing it that way, so you do not run the risk of it all being compromised at one time. Talk with the custodian of your self-directed IRA to determine how you can accomplish this. In the Retirement Funds and Self-Directed IRAs lesson, we discuss how self-directed IRAs can be used to invest in real estate.
We leave you now with some action items to complete before the next lesson. Review this lesson to determine if working with a private lender is still feasible for you. Utilize the resources mentioned in this lesson to find private lenders who meet your investment needs and criteria. Contact and screen these private lenders using the questions mentioned in this lesson. Prepare a property portfolio that you can send to them or present them in a group meeting. Maintain contact with these investors on a regular basis, at least every 2 to 3 months. Identify at least 10 motivated property sellers and then narrow the list down to 5 properties that you can evaluate and develop a property portfolio on each and present it to the best matched private lenders. And once the investors agree to fund your deal or deals, present your offer to the seller for those properties.